All right, so then we go. We had 3 WWE shows in 4 days here. So I turned on the Rumble and before work because I don't have to work till 9 o'clock, and I get to watch like a lot of the. It was cool because the Rumble was the first match, the men's Rumble. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but here were some of my highlights and lowlights. Okay. So Gargano was like the 5th entrance, and they gave him a lot of time in this.
Right, they love him.
They love him. Okay, and that's not bad because he can do a lot of shit, right? Cross came down, got some offense. Drew came out. Escobar came out. Okay, so then here's where I'm not sure. Let me see. McIntyre eliminated Cross with a Claymore kick, and then knocked him over the top rope. So whatever. But so Brock comes out and just doing havoc, right? It's clobbering everybody, suplexing everybody, everything. So then Lashley comes out. Lashley entered the ring and immediately speared Lesnar, and Lashley performed a spinebuster on Gargano, then speared McIntyre, and then Sheamus and Lesnar hoisted Lashley up for an F5, but Lashley slipped away and clotheslined Lesnar over the top to eliminate him.
Yep. Which
was a surprising finish, like for Brock, and he got pissed and created a bunch of havoc at ringside, attacked people and throwing everywhere. Like, he sold it really good.
Right.
Bro, you can't tell when Brock Lesnar's selling or like his facials, he looks so real, it's ridiculous.
Right.
It's like you wouldn't want to go near that guy, right? It's like a UFC champion and everything, So then Seth came out. Brock attacked Corbin before he got to the ring. So Seth comes out, but Ray comes out. Ray was supposed to come out, but he didn't come out. He didn't come out. So then Dominic comes out. He was number 18. Okay, bro. Dominic was one of the highlights of this match.
Yes.
And the thing is. And I was talking to Vince about this was I did a recording with Vince today because I do a show with Vince called Time Out on his brand. Channel, his brand
or channel attitude.
We'll talk some wrestling, sport. It's just like a 30-minute, just every other week conversation with the guy, right? But I asked him. I said, I was talking about selling, okay, and just a little side by the story I was telling him is like because it was funny because. When I was arguing with the Fightful marks and stuff, everything, all these guys always call me irrelevant and stuff and all that, and they try to like Meltzer didn't like my work, right? And you could tell that Meltzer didn't like my work because like when somebody posted a review, okay, of a match that I had with Dean Malenko at Bash at the Beach in 1996, right? And everybody loved that match. It was like one of the best matches of my career and stuff, right?
But can I just say something, and this isn't to defend you. We've said this before. Okay, Meltzer, he has a strong voice in the community. A lot of people listen to him. But big deal, dude. Every time you went out there, the people were chanting and they were entertained and they booed you and that's a big deal too.
Here's a specific point I want to make, though. That this story,
moreover, the guy that gives you a really good technical match, but nobody gives a or the guy who's over with the crowd but doesn't give you a great technical match?
Well, I want to make a point. So, in Meltzer's kind of thing, his basically the review of the match is that that Dean carried me through the match, right? And I would tell everybody this, my skill that I was very, very good at that people just do not, because I'm not a high flyer. I didn't do a lot of moves and stuff. But one thing I did very, very well is I sold very well. I make the other guy's offense look good and kind of try to bring a realism to the match where if a guy is beating the shit out of me, I make it look like he's beating the shit out of me. Not like the typical sells that wrestlers do today where you stagger and you're just, you get super kicked.
Dude, let me tell you, your biggest strength is you were entertaining. I'm going to tell you something as a booker.
Okay.
If you're out there giving great matches and people don't give a guess what? I don't give a either But if you're out there and you're entertaining and you're getting pops, I'm interested in you because not everybody can get pops. And usually a guy that goes out there and, and he does really good. If he's somebody really, really good like Vikingo or Will Ospreay or Ricochet, they're going to get a pop because they're so great. But if you're just out there and you do a really good match, but nobody gives and you're not connecting, to me as a booker, you're not the guy getting the pushed.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So to get to my point that I want to make a point here out of all this. So if you watch that match, okay, go back and watch the match and watch the way I sell for Dean, and then watch the way that Dean sells for me. Okay, and bro, it's not even really, you can't look at those two skills and say that Dean Malenko carried me through the match because I was selling way better than he was, right? But that's just the way I worked. Now, to fast forward my point, Terry Taylor used to tell me, he's like, the thing about you when you're out there that makes you entertaining is like, I'm watching you getting your ass kicked, as more than I'm invested in the person that's kicking your ass. Because you're all over, you're selling. You're like Piper used to do that. When Piper was getting beat up, he was very animated. Bro, Dominic sells like I used to sell, which is why he sticks out. Which is like one of the things I brought to the table when I worked is my selling was so animated that you just I stick out as opposed to the guys, and that's what he sticks out doing. He's very animated in his selling. He plays a good heel. And his punches look really good. So when he's getting the guy he looks good. And bro, he's improved so much, it's ridiculous. Would you agree with all that?
Yeah, even his selling. Like I was watching on Monday when they were hitting him, and he was popping his head back, and all those little things that make all those nuances that make you a great worker.
This is how good it is. I brought the point that we weren't even talking about the guy, and I was talking. I told that story about how everybody's been railing me online and questioning my work and stuff. And I told the Dean Malenko story, and I go, who's one guy on the show, Vincent, that you see that's really improved doing that lately? He immediately said Dominic Mysterio. So Dominic's work, because he's embracing the art of selling and he's very good at it, his work is sticking out. I wish all the other wrestlers would look at that too. Selling is an important part of this business. And if you're making guys look good, and that's all you have to do. If you can sell and you can punch and kick good and make it look like you're beating the guy up, you've got enough. So he was great in this, his facials and everything. And, so then number 29, Logan Paul comes in, right? And the fans booed him, and he's so good at this, right? He got in the ring, and he was just acted like a star, in the middle, right? Everything and everything, right. Here I am. Just the people there was just a buzz. There was boos, there was cheers and stuff. Then all the boys are kind of surrounding him. He's like, "Hey, what's up? What's up?" And then boom, they beat the guy, right?
Right.
So, but he sold it really good,
right?
And then they threw he sells well too. Right,
he's one of these guys that Pat McAfee that just picked it up quick, and is excellent at it, right? Right.
So they did the spot that everybody saw. So him and Cody comes out last, and so everybody's I don't know if Cody got a huge pop. So it wasn't like the boos that we thought we'd get because there was no Rock. Cody got a good pop,
or Sammy,
right? So Cody's over,
Right.
So. Which is kind of, I just want to, before I get, I thought we'll talk about this afterwards. So basically there's this unbelievable spot where Ricochet's on one end on the apron on one side, Logan Paul's on the apron on the other side, and there's jawing at each other. And they're like, hey, you want to do it? Let's go. And they both springboard, meet in the middle for a double clothesline, and it was the highest double clothesline in the history of professional wrestling. And it was and they came crashing to the mat.
Well, it says a lot for Logan Paul because Ricochet may be the most athletic guy on that roster.
Right.
And Logan got up there with him.
Right.
He's really special.
Right.
Let me just say this. I thought the Intercontinental Champion Gunther came out looking like a mega star out of here.
Well, it's not over. Let's go to the finish. Basically, Cody and gets down to Cody and Gunther, and they worked for a decent amount of time.
Right.
They went 7-8 minutes.
Good
minutes, and it was like a good heel getting heat on the babyface, and the babyface has to do a comeback. So it was typical classic professional wrestling heel heat babyface comeback. Cody goes over and wins the match. So then go ahead.
Right. And so, like I said, a lot of times in Royal Rumble, when the guy's in there for a long time, he's in the corner, really doing nothing, and he's just waiting for his turn to come in and do something. And this guy was just, always doing something. And to me, you talk about somebody getting a rub. He got a mega rub. Some of the surprises for me, Booker coming out and doing the spinner Rooney.
Yeah, that was a huge pop.
To a big pop, and then he gets eliminated immediately. That was great. And I think it was Gunther too.
Right.
Lesnar got a huge pop when he came in.
Mm-hmm.
I popped because Dom came out with raised mask, and he was trying to rip it and rip it and rip it, and he couldn't rip it. You should have cut that ahead of time, and then you rip it.
Right.
Paul eliminating Rollins was very shocking, and it looks like they might be doing a program which will be good, and then Rhodes threw him out. I thought Woods and Kingston, I don't know if you remember, with all the going on, they had awesome gear. I thought the way Sheamus and Gargano eliminated Miz was awesome. I loved McAfee and Cole together. I'd love to hear McAfee and Corey Graves, because I really like Corey Graves, but I think they're two color guys, so that may not happen. What was another thing? Just like you, I was shocked that Lesnar got eliminated, but it was Lashley, so that continued their
right.
Bro, Rhodes got a huge pop when he eliminated Dom. That shows you how much he has.
Yep.
And I loved, because I'm thinking, wow, this could be a future matchup. Did you see how the people were buzzing when Gunther and Brock faced off?
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to match up.
Yeah.
Brock obviously has a program with him and with Bobby set up next. So I don't know which one they're going to do first, but
this was good. They did a lot of good in this Royal Rumble. It wasn't the same kind of boring thing that I don't like.
Right. Yeah, and I thought I like this, because I thought there were some good spots, but this is interesting. So, I'm assuming, okay, so it's Roman and Cody, probably night 2 main event, right?
Right.
And let's hypothetically say that the tag titles are going to be, they're going to tell the story and end up with the Usos versus Sammy and Kevin, right?
Right.
Or you never know, bro, because remember this whole thing this Bloodline angle started with Jey Uso versus Roman.
That could be Jey and Sammy against
Solo and Jimmy.
Right.
And absolutely.
That would be great too.
There's something, that's the one thing, the great thing about this angle, there's so many different directions you could go with the story.
Right.
And they're going to just kill it whichever way they go, because it's been great.
Exactly.
So far, right? Okay, so, but, you're going to probably have Brock and Bobby. You have the women's tag team, women's championship matches. Bro, where... Rollins and Logan Paul. Where is that on the card?
It's going to open.
No. But I would say where should that be on the card? 2 nights.
Maybe
I'd have to see the.
I'm aware of that, but I can't think of anything that's more compelling than the 2 matches I'm interested in are Roman against Cody and Rollins against Logan Paul.
Yeah, that could be a semifinal match, but
or it could main event night 1 if they build it right.
Right.
Because, bro, that's the one thing. Because Logan Paul's already main evented a pay-per-view against Roman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
and he did good.
And he's Drew.
Yeah.
Bro,
but they've changed the way that they've set up cards in the last few years or longer. Like, they always open with a title match or like what's going to be a hot match. They
I'm aware of that, but my question to you is not where should it be?
3rd from the top. Either night, maybe.
I don't.
I mean, it depends.
I would say it's got potential to be this. If they're going to put one of the women's matches in the main event on one of the shows, it's a semi-main event. It's a semi-main event on either show. Right. Is what I would say, because they look at Logan Paul as a big star.
And they're going to do great promo work.
Peacock has doubled its subscriptions in the past year. Doubled their prescriptions, and then tons of it is obviously, of course, the WWE.
Bro, the product is hot.
It is very hot, and then the Logan Pauls and Bad Bunnies and stuff. Bro, I think they've contributed way more than people think to making it hot.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, all right. So next was the pitch black match, which was basically just a hardcore match with cool light. Like I said, the visual is excellent. It just looked like a video game, just really cool. Looked like a rave. Like I said, they should have given out glow sticks to people like coming in and everything for this and stuff, because it would have, I think it would have added to the whole effect.
1,000%, yeah.
But it was just, like I said, everybody says that working with Bray Wyatt, nobody's come out good. But I think LA Knight got made in this angle, and they just wanted him to get away from Bray Wyatt and go on to your next big angle. Like, I don't think LA Knights got buried here at all, because he carried the angle even though they put Bray over. But they did the thing with the Uncle Howdy, did a splash outside. I don't. Things are so confusing.
Here's the thing about this match. We've done this in AAA before. It's like a glow-in-the-dark match. Mm-hmm. The problem is that we had in AAA and during this match, bro, it's hard to see.
Right.
You couldn't really see what the was going on, so it wasn't an enjoyable experience for me. Mm-hmm. I liked the candlestick. It looked like one of those Star Wars lightsaber. Mm-hmm. And bro, when Howdy, what was the purpose of Howdy jumping off of that? And then he missed him by a mile. He didn't even land on him.
How long
it
are we
was just a gratuitous stunt to get a pop.
How long are we in this angle? It's like been months now, right?
Bro, let's end this feud and let Night flourish. That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
We still don't know who Uncle Howdy is. Is this some guy with a man? It's like it could be some mark in the back that like a local indie guy that bring it to each show dressing up as Uncle Howdy, like when you go to these independent wrestling shows, there's always a doink.
Yeah, but it's obviously going to be somebody kind of important because they've invested a lot of time in him. I just want to see who he is and what he's about because they've invested a lot of time and the payoff better be good.
I heard it's going to be Bo Dallas.
Yeah. So let me tell you something. So I'll be very honest with you, okay? I did not really, and I didn't go back. I mean, I saw some highlights on Twitter, but these next two matches, I didn't care. I knew Bianca was going to defeat Alexa. I didn't even watch it. I was at work and I wasn't paying attention to the screen.
And I didn't tell you about that match.
Okay.
I'm not into this feud, and from the fans' reaction, neither were they. The only cool thing about the match is, what's this girl's name? Alexa did a cool bow and arrow using Belair's braid. But this match was just there, bro. It was just, meh.
Okay.
That's the problem with starting the show with the Rumble like that, because a lot of the stuff afterwards, kind of tapered off. Everybody wants to see the men's Rumble, and they started the show with it. I don't know about structure it like that,
Right. Match wasn't good, Joe, and people aren't into this, and Alexa isn't what she used to be, and there's a lot of other reasons.
Yeah. All right, so next was the women's Rumble. I didn't care. I knew who's going to win this too, so I just fast forwarded to the end, and they got down to who was out here? Nia Jax came in, number 30. This was actually pretty good TV because she looked big, right?
Big.
Yeah, and she did the thing where they all tried to attack her, and then she knocked them off, and then they all got together and they eliminated her. But
bro, here's the problem with that match. Other than Ripley, the only person you thought had a chance was maybe Lynch or Bailey. That was maybe Morgan because they like her a lot, but that was about it. There's so many girls that nobody gives a fuck about and are directionless, from Tegan Knox to Shotzi to Dana Brooke to Natalia to There's so many. You know what I'm saying? This was not good to me.
Yeah, but a good finish for Rhea, and she looked great, and she did a spot with Liv. They went in 1 and 2, and they went out. She went out number 29. Liv.
How about Chelsea Green coming in and they just eliminate her like that? Right. Yeah, I did like Michelle McCool sitting in the crowd with her kids, and she just jumps the barricade
and joins the match.
Yeah. So
they could say she was just sitting there watching the show with her kids, having a drink at ringside, and now she's in the Rumble.
Right. That was good.
It's just ridiculous. But, all right. So then we get to the main event, and it's Paul and Sammy and Roman out there. And this was a good match, and Roman was being very sadistic to this, and kept looking at Sammy. He was kind of testing Sammy to see how far he could take him, to beat up his friend. But there was this, bro. I don't know why these guys do these spots. There's so many things you could do for sympathy, but he put Kevin in front of the steps, and he was taking him in the back of the hair and running him to his back and taking the bump onto the steps. He did it twice.
Yeah, you hit the back of his head.
And I was like, what the? I'm like, good grief! What'd you think of that, Konnan?
It's like an old Foley bump,
I just think that he likes taking punishment. He doesn't mind, and he's just he's young. You're only young once. He probably won't be doing this when he's older. He just says,
Right. So next, so they go to him. They're on the floor. They're doing some stuff. He did the spot with the ring steps, and he throws him in the ring. And he looked out. He spoke to Heyman, and Heyman told Zayn to worship and acknowledge his tribal chief. And Zayn held up his index finger. And in the ring, Owens punched Reigns, who bounced off the ropes and speared him and pinned him to win the match. So after the match, the Usos and Solo entered the ring, and Jay wanted to put a lei around Sammy's neck, but Reigns stopped him. Reigns smiled and pointed to Owens, and Jimmy and Jay worked over Owens with punches and kicks, and then hit with the 1D finisher while Reigns had his arm around Sammy. Then the Usos dragged Owens to a corner, and they continued their attack, and then the Sammy chant broke out. Then the Usos wrapped a chair around the head of Owens, and Solo delivered a hip attack to it, and Reigns smiled and looked to Heyman, who handed him a pair of handcuffs. Heyman said he always has 2 pair, and handed Reigns a second pair of handcuffs, which the Usos used to chain Owens to the top rope. Zayn said something to Reigns and then thought better of it. And the Usos took turns super kicking Owens and hit him with double super kicks. And the crowd's continuing to chant for Sammy. Then Reigns jawed at Owens while holding a chair, and Reigns told Owens that he disrespected his brother and tried to hold him back, and they didn't appreciate that. He wanted to hit Owens with the chair, but Sammy stepped in front of him and asked him to stop. Zayn tried to reason with Reigns and that he'd done enough and didn't need to do it, and Zayn told Reigns that he's better than this and said Owens is done. Reigns held up a chair and wanted Zayn to take it, and Zayn said he didn't want it and continued to plead with Reigns, and Reigns told Zayn there wasn't any going back now. Reigns said Zayn had gone too far, and Reigns told Zayn that he loved him and had given him everything, and Reigns told Zayn that the ring is his and said he could go and do jackass. Then Zayn held the chair and hesitated, and Reigns told Heyman that Zayn was crying. Then Reigns shoved Sammy's face a few times and barked at him and started yelling at him. Zayn wound up with the chair and slammed it in the back of Reigns, who got a massive pop. Then Zayn dropped the chair, looked over at Jey Uso, and said, I'm sorry. And then Jimmy super kicked Sammy. Then Cole said, Sami Zayn made his choice and he's going to pay. That was a great line. Then Jimmy mounted Zayn and threw some punches, and Sikoa shoved Jimmy off, but then picked up Zayn and gave him the Samoan spike. And then Sikoa held Zayn while Jimmy threw repeated punches at him while Reigns shouted encouragement. And Jane just stood in the corner and watched the scene play out, and Reigns turned his attention to Jey, who looked conflicted. Then Reigns told Jey that Zayn isn't his brother. Jey left the ring, was cheered by the crowd. Jey walked to the back while holding his face in his hands, and the rest of the bloodline watched. Then Jey got emotional as he headed towards the back. Then Reigns turned his focus back to Zayn and hit him with the repeated chair shots while Jey was making it to the entrance arena. Jane hit Reigns a lay. Then a few Roman chants started, really loud too, which Reigns acknowledged by looking to the crowd, and he plucked the pedals off the lay and dropped them on Sammy and threw one more super kick at Owens, who was still handcuffed. Jimmy did, and then they all left, and they left us with massive heat. And this was good. This is good emotional storytelling that got great heat from the crowd.
Yeah, emotional manipulation. And 2 years ago, when really hardly nobody was on the bandwagon, you and me were telling everybody that would listen how great this was. And this is amongst the greatest storylines in the history of wrestling that we're watching in real time, and it ain't over. This is absolutely brilliant storytelling.
And prior to when it started, you guys kind of called for it for a long time. Why isn't Roman with these guys? Why don't they turn the Usos? That was, you guys said that a lot in the mailbag and all that.
Yep.